Welcome to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional custom home builder. This is going to be the first in a series of videos about using the features in CHS for posting credit card charges to the person that you paid with the credit card. Like if you paid Joe the plumber with a credit card, you will be posting the charge to Joe the plumber so that we can track how much has been paid to Joe the plumber. You will not be posting the charge to a credit card account, to a credit card vendor. The only thing you'll be posting to credit card vendors are payments that you make directly to your credit card vendor, like American Express. CHS is designed to be able to handle this so that you can post your charges to whoever you paid. And you'll see I have a later video about maybe you have charges for gas and restaurants that I suggest you set up a vendor called gas and restaurants and things like that. But let's start out first of all. I'm going to talk in this video about how to set up things for this type of feature. So I'm going to click this button for credit card ledgers for just a minute. And the reason for that is that I have step 1. We're going to need to set up a credit card vendor like American Express or Discover, etc., by adding a new vendor to the list of vendors. That'll be step 1, and we'll go through that in here. And then step 2 is going to be that we set up a credit card payable account on our chart of accounts under liabilities, and we attach this vendor to that credit card account, and that's how CHS will know that the vendor, like American Express, is a credit card vendor, and it will track charges posted to as paid by that credit card and payments paid to that credit card. I'm also going to click Help up here at the top of the window, and you'll notice that one of the bars here is for credit card charges and payments, and these videos are currently being developed, but we already have a help document that you can click on that's a printed help document that will be all about the things that I'm going to go over in these videos. And as I said, CHS is designed to track costs or expenses for vendors that were paid with a credit card. Therefore, credit card charges are posted directly to the vendor that was paid with the credit card, not to the credit card company. And by posting these charges directly to the vendor that was paid with the credit card, vendor transaction ledgers, cost reports, and 1099s can be produced for the appropriate vendors. CHS will take care of all of this, and that's what we're going to go over in the video. When you are ready to pay the credit card itself, the credit card company, the amount is paid as a lump sum to the credit card company, as we'll be explaining. And this document will describe setting up credit card accounts and vendors, posting the charges, etc. We go to the next page. This is the step that we're going to describe right now, and I have this page beside me, and I will go over this step by demonstrating it. So let's go back to our program, close this, and close this credit card ledgers thing for now. And the first thing you want to do is set up your credit card vendor, because you're going to need to use that vendor when you're posting payments directly to the credit card company, like a payment on your credit card account, not charges to the credit card company. So we're going to set up one for a Discover card that we have, and actually that this Discover card will be used. We don't have it here yet, so let's add new vendor. This credit card will be used by one of our project managers, I think named George Brown or something. We're going to call this Discover as our vendor code, but we're going to add like a 6 to the end of it, or a 2 or a 1 or something, because we might have 3 or 4 Discover cards to different project managers or something. So we're trying to identify it. So we're going to call this Discover card the name of the vendor, and we're going to go ahead and look at our credit card account number, and we're going to just help identify it to ourselves when we're selecting it in drop-down lists by the fact that this is a Discover card that ends in the numbers 5006. I'm kind of doing it like credit card companies will do when they're trying to hide the rest of the number. And I'm going to submit this. So now it's opening the window to set up this vendor. and I'm going to leave it as active, and I am just going to leave it as an overhead type. There's my vendor name. I'll type in, whatever address we mail our credit card payments to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe this is in, I'm just making up stuff, Colorado Springs. Maybe that's where their main office is. I'm just, and I don't have any idea what the zip code is, so we'll just make that up. And then over here, and you might have a telephone number for them, 800-111-1111 or whatever that you want to put in. We don't need to send credit card companies 1099s, etc., so we're not worried about that. And we're going to leave the GL account number alone because I'm going to come back and show you what CHS is going to do when you set up your credit card payable account and select this as the vendor that goes with it on your chart of accounts. So we can leave the rest of this alone. Maybe I'm going to make a note about this is the Discover card given to George Brown to use, our project manager or something. Maybe we have different ones. So I just made a note about that just to make it clear. So I've set up my credit card vendor, and I'm going to come back to this window in a minute. But step 2, after you set up your credit card, it could be American Express, Visa, some things like that you've set up. I'm going to save this. And step 2 that you will see in the information, if you go back to the help document and we now go to the next page, step 2 is to set up a credit card liability account on your chart of accounts. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go home, and then we'll leave this open. Let's refresh it and go ahead and ask for the D's again. So we can see that it's now in the list, Discover 6, and we'll come back and look at it in a minute. So let's go home and let's go to our chart of accounts. Please watch other videos about setting up your chart of accounts, and in particular, setting up some financial headings to group things by. If you scroll down, you're going to see financial group heading, cash, receivables, investors, investments, accumulated depreciation, and I'm going to stop right here on the financial group heading for current liability. Because credit card payable accounts, you can see we already have some on our chart of accounts. They're usually considered current liability. If you like, you can edit the group financial headings if you're going to have a bunch of them. I guess I could go ahead and show doing that right now. Edit financial group headings. We might have one right after current. See, we have a financial section for current liabilities, but maybe we want a group heading for credit cards payable. So I could go ahead and do that if I like, by so that I could group them together and see how much we just owe for credit cards payable. Under current liabilities, we have one just called current liability and one called construction liability. And these are just sort numbers for how we want these to sort on our financials. So maybe I want this to sort right after current liability, so I'll add one with a 220. So if I want to do that, I'm going to go ahead and do that right up here, and I'm going to select the section, the main financial section I want that in, which is still current liabilities, and I might call this credit card liabilities, just because, and I said I wanted it to sort as 220. So it jumped for some reason after I hit the tab key. That's annoying, and I haven't quite figured that part out, but anyway, it just sorted that right here as, and if you do a financial balance sheet, you'll see the sections for these things. So let's go ahead and close this, and I'm going to edit a couple of these. Let's get back to our liabilities. This credit card's payable. I want to edit it, and I want to put it in a little different group. So right now I have it under this current liability group under the financial section, current liability, but I want to put it under credit card liabilities. I'll submit my edits, post the edits, and it's going to move out of this section. It has to refresh. So you now see we have one down here in credit card liabilities. Let's go get our, all right, now we have all of those down here. We might decide now we want to do a credit card payable discover, and maybe it would be 2133 as our account number. So let's do add new GL account, and we'll do it 2133, and we'll call it credit card payable discover 6. And our group heading, like we've been doing with the others, would be our credit card liabilities. And now what I want to talk about in setting this up to get it connected is you need to mark this as a credit card account. This is so CHS can use it and know that you want to do ledgers for this particular account to reconcile your credit card payable. You will not be allowed to select both yes here and yes here. It's not a cash account, it's a credit card account. And right here, because of this, it's asking, and if I submitted it, this will probably error and tell you that it needs a credit card vendor. There's a little question mark icon describing all the things I'm describing. But what I'm going to do is look for my Discover vendor that I set up in step 1. And so I'm attaching it to this credit card payable account Discover 6, and I'm submitting this new account. And it says, it verifies that I want to submit it, and I'll close that now. And then it's refreshed our data, and we now have one called Discover 6. Notice that these three, we're actually not using this account as a credit card payable, and we could probably go ahead and delete it because we're separating out our stuff to use the features in CHS. So let's delete that one, because we have ours credit card payable Amex, credit card payable Discover, etc. One other thing is I like things to flow right, and I'm too busy talking to realize I really wanted that not in all caps, because the all caps would be the section. So let's just fix that up by editing that real quickly. This makes your balance sheets and things like that look a lot better if you stay sort of uniform by using big and little letters, not one of them suddenly having these capital letters. I like to do those kinds of things in these videos, even though they take up time, because it helps bookkeepers, etc., with understanding some formalities. So we've set that Discover 6 credit card payable account up on our chart of accounts. And I'm going to go back and take a look at the vendor we set up as a credit card vendor, Discover 6. And I'd like to show you what CHS does now. When I opened this, it said this vendor is set up as a credit card vendor. And it knows that because when I set up the credit card payable account, I selected this vendor to be the vendor that's attached to that account. Therefore, it says the default GL number cannot be changed. Notice that this is the 2133 that I set up for credit card payable. It's a dead field. I can't change it. This is so CHS can control this credit card vendor. So anything that's posted to this Discover 6 will go in and become a charge. It will be posted actually as a credit if you know anything about accounting. When you post a bill, like to Joe the plumber, and then you say post as paid by credit card, CHS is going to know when I select this credit card to be the one, it's going to post one side to the GL account you used for that bill to Joe the plumber, like maybe job costs, etc. And it's going to post the credit side to this GL account 2133, which in a sense is increasing that credit card payable account. And it's a credit. It's normally a credit balance account is what they call it in accounting. So that it's got that. It shows up on a balance sheet. It increases that credit card payable by the fact that I select this vendor as the one I'm using to post as paid. Then when I select this vendor to post a bill, which we're going to go through the videos about that here in a second. When I select this vendor to post as a bill, CHS is going to pop up and say this is a credit card vendor, and it's going to take you to a little bit different screen because it's going to be for just posting a total payment to the credit card, whatever amount. Maybe you're paying them $2,000 just to pay down your credit card. And it will control and enforce that this 2133 is used when that is posted, so that it actually decreases the credit card payable account. And we'll go jump around and look at all of that a little bit, and hopefully it is accountants or bookkeepers that do understand a little bit about debits, credits to follow what I was just talking about. So anyway, that's the step 1 and step 2 that you need to do for your various credit cards. For every credit card that you're going to use and keep track of in CHS, you would need to do step 1, set up that credit card as a vendor, and then step 2, go create an account on your chart of accounts, credit card payable account, under the liabilities section for that particular credit card. And we will continue on to the next video to show some other information about posting credit card charges and payments, etc. Thank you for watching.